Alrighty, finally, it is time to look in the actual research methods. Research methods is simply how you are going about collecting your data. Generally, okay, not always, but for the most part, how you go about and collect your data is going to be based on your worldview and your strategy of inquiry that we've talked about previously in these videos as well. So first thing you need to understand is quantitative again, and then you need to understand qualitative. What is the difference? And then the mixed method, which is the combination of the two. Again, remember, quantitative is a predetermined question. It is instrument based. There is performance, there is attitude, observational research data, consensus data leading to statistical data, okay? With quantitative, you have statistics that you can analyze, look at this data, and understand exactly what's going on and prove it. Compared to qualitative data, which is emerging questions, you're gonna ask open-ended questions, you're gonna interview, observe people, and then document that data. You're going to look for themes and patterns, okay? In quantitative or qualitative data or analysis, you're looking at the patterns compared to quantitative, where you're looking at the cold, hard stats. A mixed method is a combination of the two. So you need to understand the difference between quantitative and qualitative, and if you combine those two together, you are going to have mixed methods going on. The learning objective for this unit right now is to be able to understand the combination of different methods within research. Now, other things that you need to also be thinking about as you go about doing this is number one, the research problem. Specific problems require a specific method. This is important, okay? You cannot use one method on a certain type of problem. You're not going to be able to find the research that you need to be finding. So it's important to understand that. Point A is a new problem is going to be exploratory. If it's something you've not had to do any research on before, you need to explore what might be causing this issue that you're addressing, what might be causing what's happening to happen is going to be qualitative, okay? You need to have the quality there. You need to kind of understand and figure out what might be causing this. When there's different factors involved, you need to identify those different factors, and then you need to go into the quantitative data experience. You also need to take your personal experiences into consideration when you are doing research. Your own training and your comfort level is going to influence how you go about making your research. This is the first time you've done any research ever. You're most likely not going to be as comfortable as someone who is a trained scientist going about and doing research. Okay, so realize that's going to influence this. Make sure you're staying within your comfort level, but also finding a way to push yourself and match with your interest, which is most likely with your worldview. Find something you're interested in. It's going to make research much easier for you. It's going to align with your worldview, and you're going to give a better project compared to doing something that you really have no interest in. And finally, look at the audience you are writing for. Write for an audience that's going to accept the research you are doing. Don't be writing about designing bridges when you're writing for first graders. It's simply not going to work. Okay, make sure you understand your audience and you're writing to your audience, and use approach that is typically used by their advisors. So if you're going to be writing to someone who likes qualitative data using the pragmatic worldview, you should probably be writing something using qualitative data with the pragmatic worldview. Make sure you're using the same kind of worldview and way of looking at something as the audience you are writing for. For your major project and topics, you need to think about, one, your worldview. You need to have your worldview in the back of your mind when it comes to doing research. You need to know your strategy of inquiry and the research method that you like to be using when it comes time for you to conduct your research. Find a subject that interests you, such as biology, history, sociology, culture, anything like that. If you are interested in the topic, you are going to give better research. It's going to be more enjoyable for you. And additionally, find a problem that you can think of. Don't just simply copy something off of the internet. Find something that you're interested in. I don't want this to be something where you're just finding and taking someone else's work. I want you to find the information yourself and truly learn from this process. If you go about it this in the correct way that I'm asking you to go about this, you're going to understand the process is going to be a much more enjoyable course for you instead of something you're simply getting through. In a Google Doc that you need to be sharing, though, with me, is what I would like you to do is write a possible subject for your research. This is going to be something that's broad, okay? Then narrow that down into a possible topic, making it more narrow as you go, a topic within that subject. Then I want you to write a research question that based off of that topic that comes from the subject. write a possible research method that you would be using to research this question from this topic, from this subject. And finally, I want you to write your worldview based on your method or on the topic you choose. So certain worldviews are going to relate to better methods and topics than others. I want you to be able to write that before class starts tomorrow. If you have any questions, please message me, get a hold of me, comment down below. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.